Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. So today I am going to be flying my obvious favorite Kodiak 100 by Simwork Studios, and we are going to do a quick VFR flight from Long Island MacArthur Airport to Martha's Vineyard. Today's goal is basically gonna be me going over Kodiak and all the procedures that I follow. And other than that, we are also going to use Navigraph's VFR update in order to generate a VFR flight plan and use charts and all that. So right now we are parked somewhere on the general aviation ramp. It looks like we're gonna quickly bring out our Navigraph charts application right here. There you go. I've already tried it just to check it out, so we're gonna do it all over again. So we can go to new flight. We don't need to put a name. We are gonna choose VFR. Our cruising altitude, I don't know, like maybe 8,000 to 10,000. I don't know. I mean, it's not that important. At least not when, because I'm not using. I'm not on what you call that. I forgot. Come on. The ATC thing. Yeah. Once I remember, I'll mention it. But yes, so let's go ahead, select our origin airport, which will be KISP here. So Long Island MacArthur, we'll add to route, and then for our destination we'll go ahead and choose KMVY, so Martha's Vineyard. Once we have those selected, we still didn't choose our runway. There are a lot of different ways to do, but the good thing is you can see the charts are right here. Damn, this cough is not gonna go away. Anyways, sorry about that. So the charts keep on loading once we keep adding like runways or departures and all that. So let's go ahead and click on auto route. We'll choose airway type slow, which will basically give us VOR and all that. So let's see what it generates. I'll close this. Oh yeah, there you go. So we can see here it generated using two VOR, Jordan and Sierra Echo Yankee, to KMVY Kilo Mike Victor Yankee. Okay, before anything we'll have to definitely get weather and all that to choose what runways, so we'll do everything one by one. Let's go ahead inside our aircraft. Everything is switched off. Also, I'll be using a lot of my buttons and Bravo throttle switches in order to control most of it. And also the new addition I have is I have my two iPads set up to work as my PFD and MFD. I'll soon come up with a YouTube video on how I set it up, and I'm using my Loop Deck Live as a switch and knob for those G1000s. So first thing first, let's go ahead, turn on our, actually let's just not forget this, the annoying one. So our fuel shut off is on, our firewall shut off goes pushed in, master switch comes on, and avionics bus comes on. Our G1000s are aligning and all that. So let's go ahead, turn on our nav lights first. Nav light is turned on, our parking brakes are set, all our power levers are good, our flaps are up. A quick checklist, and let's turn on our MFD. So let's go ahead and set this flight plan that we got from the flight plan we generated using Navigraph. So we know that we are taking two NDVs. One is Juliet Oscar Romeo Delta November and Sierra Echo Yankee. So let's go ahead quickly and set those up. First thing first, flight plan. We will go ahead and go to origin, and we are in Kilo India Sierra and Papa. So once we select this and press enter, now we have, if you see over here, selected waypoint weather. We can see the weather. The winds are at 290 at 16 knots. So this gives us a good idea on what runway we can go ahead and choose. So let's see what is the closest. 28. runway 28. I think it's super small runway or something, but it should work. Let me bring my charts up and then we can confirm. So there's another way we can choose, very simple, is once we click on runway available, it will show us which runway will be the best. So it seems like we can take a runway 33 left or 33 right, whichever. So we'll just go ahead and choose runway 33 right. We can add to route. So now that we have that, we can do the same thing here. So we'll go to 33 right and we'll press enter again, and we have this now in route. So let's go ahead. Our first waypoint was Jordan. So Juliet, where is it? Okay, Oscar, Romeo, and Delta November. Okay, there you go, we have it. It shows distance quite a bit, so let's fix that. We'll go press enter, and there we go. November Echo Northeast USA. So we're gonna choose this one right here, which is 55 nautical miles away, which is the correct waypoint. And then the next waypoint, we can, let me try something out here. So if I press enter, what does that show? Nothing. Okay, let's go ahead back to our flight plan. We choose to menu. Okay, fine. Now I've cleared what I wanted to. Let's go ahead next, and over here we can just set up our altitude. So we can go ahead and set 8,000. So we can press enter. Let's go to the next waypoint, is Sierra Echo Yankee. So let's select that, Sierra Echo, and I can't find it. Yeah, there you go, Sierra Echo Yankee. It's in China, it's showing, but we're gonna find the nearest one. Wait, what just happened? You know what, I'll just use the keyboard to type it again. So if we press enter, we want the VR in the US. So we're gonna go put one more time, enter, and then destination is Kilo Mike Victor and Yankee. So we have Martha's Vineyard. We go next, and for that waypoint, it says the weather is 290 at 11, gusting at 18 knots. So once again, if we use our Navigraph chart, just to have an idea, like we don't have to land on that, but it seems like we can choose runway 33. So for now, we're gonna add that on route as well. So now that we have all that, let's see the options for our runway. So we press 33, we press enter, and next what I like to do is quickly select my approach as well. So that will straight up take direct to runway 33. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead to procedure, select procedure, ILS runway to RNAV. So we can go ahead and select RNAV, and if we press enter, let's see where we are coming from. So I think we can choose the Delta Echo Echo Papa Oscar. What happens if we choose? So we're gonna switch this to RA, radio altimeter, and we are gonna put around, decision height will be around, let's say 300 feet. So let's go ahead, enter that, it loads, and now let's zoom out. Yeah, so my north up is my like I changed my map into heading up, so wherever the heading is, it's gonna the map is gonna be oriented that way. So let's close our flight plan real quick and see. Yeah, that actually works. Yeah, that really works. So let's go ahead and set the same thing over here. So we can go ahead, approach RNAV 33, and there you go, add to route. Okay, now we have that added, and we have the chart as well. So you can see the chart right here. Everything looks good. So we have all of that selected. Nice. Now let's go ahead over here. Now that our flight plan is selected, we chose runway 33 right. Yeah, we are right next to 33 left, and 33 right is a smaller one, so will be good for our aircraft. We don't need that much. Okay, so it looks like what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a right turn after our engine start. We'll take Sierra taxiway all the way to holding short point for runway 33 right, and then we're gonna take off. And once we take off, so 33 right, come on, my mouse is just so annoying. So once we take off, we're gonna be in heading mode first, and then we are gonna intercept the direct to course to our waypoints, to our next waypoints, and should be good. We don't need any departure. Everything should be good. Okay, before engine start, let's let's zoom in first into our MFD. Okay, now I'll be doing some of this away from screen. Okay, a few things is set up the autopilot. So let's go ahead, set up our 8000, which is already set there. 1000. Yeah, there you go. On our PFD it shows 8000. Yeah, there you go. And then we're gonna also do our V speed setup. So we're gonna climb at about 1600 feet, and then we can figure out the rest. Other than that, everything else looks like set. We can check our altimeter from our MFD. So I'll quickly go to flight plan, and I'll go up to origin, and altimeter is 2975. So we're gonna set that 2975. Okay, now that we have that set, the flight plan page can go away from our MFD, and we are ready for engine start. Also, before anything else, I'll press the CDI twice so we have our GPS on for nav. And also I'll quickly just set up our runway heading. So runway heading for 33 right will be, if I open the chart, 329. Okay, so our heading knob will say 329. Also, recently I found out that the weather port actually works on the G1000 NXI. So let me try to do that. Oh, there you go. Ooh, okay. Okay, now it says off, so we're gonna press on the mode. We're gonna press on standby and weather. Okay, we don't really care about that. It says nothing in terms of weather. Well, we'll figure this out while we are on the ground, and bearing will be on. So let's go ahead back to our navigation map. Okay, so in terms of taxi, we're gonna turn our engine, take a right, and take the Sierra taxiway to runway 33 right. Before engine checklist, everything is looking good. We are just going to turn our beacon light, and then our eyes will be always on the MFD, all the T's and all the N's. So the first thing is, let's turn on our auxiliary fuel pump, and also our starter will go to high. Let's check that NG value to reach at least 14 before we introduce fuel. So there you go, fuel will be low idle. And now we're gonna wait until the NG goes to green. Let me just go to that page for U. So once this NG goes to green, we are going to turn on our generator and alternator. Okay, there you go. So our generator and alternator can come on. Our starter switch can go to off, and our auxiliary fuel pump can come to standby, and then our propeller will go to max. There you go, we have a clean engine start. Next few things, I will set up my rudder trim on the right just a little bit, not too much. And so this is going to be the pilot view that I'll be mostly flying once we are at least airborne. And for taxi, I mean, we can still go for taxi. Okay, we are set here. The engine is started. Let's set our flaps for takeoff. So flaps is set to 20. Let's quickly check that. Yes, flaps is set for 20. The checklist is now with me, so I'm just scrambling my head, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do next? Anyways, let's go ahead, turn our taxi light, and we are gonna turn off the parking brakes. So let's go ahead. Also, we're gonna turn our heading mode on. Vertical speed is already on, and these flight simulator trucks that don't care about anything, they will just come right at you. A lot of people flying here. There is Sky King 1021. I can't read the other name. Someone's flying B773, and then another Airbus. We're just gonna go right here. I think the taxi thing is wrong. Yeah, this is supposed to be Sierra. So we're going, it says 33 left, but we're actually going to 33 right using Sierra. 33 left is on Bravo taxiway. Just gonna put my trims just a little bit low. And we are on the holding short point for our runway. No, that's 28. What is going on? Okay, I'm gonna close this. I will zoom out just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we are lined up on the runway, so we're gonna not waste too much time and not take too much space, so we're gonna stop right here. Parking brake goes on. We are on the runway, so our taxi light will come off, landing light comes on, strobes come on, fuel condition lever is on high idle, auxiliary fuel pump is gonna come on, and we are ready for takeoff. So let's go ahead. We are at 60 knots. We can go ahead, pull up. Oop. Rudder trim is gonna go off. Flaps up. Auxiliary fuel pump goes standby, and second flaps up. So flaps is 0 right now. We are climbing at around 100. We are gonna take a right turn real quick. So I'll go ahead, turn on my autopilot, and we're gonna start changing our heading course to intercept the GPS. I'm gonna cut down on the power a little bit, increase the vertical speed just a little bit more. Yeah, 2000. So our climb speed is at around 110 knots, not too much. And my heading, I'll turn on the nav on autopilot as well. Also, I'll show you a bunch of things on autopilot system, how to use the VNav on Kodiak 100. So my heading course set to intercept the GPS. So we had a clean take off, our flaps are up, our lights are good, and we are about to, okay, pitot heat will come on, air temperature is dropping. I'll decrease our climb rate just a little bit to about 1600. Power comes back, and we're about to intercept the GPS in a few. Once we do, it is gonna turn from heading mode. Right here you can see GPS mode is armed, and there you go, it activated. So our distance, if we look at our MFD and press on flight plan, it will say that our top of descent is in 56 minutes, which is actually wrong. It is going to decrease once we go up and we have all our RNAV altitudes and everything. So we're good here. TOD 1 hour, we'll check on that. So in 53 nautical miles we'll hit our first waypoint, Jordan, and from there we'll go to Sierra Echo Yankee, and from there we're gonna get into our arrival procedure for runway 33. Until then we can enjoy the views. So we are climbing to 8,000 feet. Currently we are passing through 4,000, and our airspeed is at about 103 knots. Increase that just a little bit, and we're going from Long Island MacArthur to Martha's Vineyard. So the whole goal for this flight is to get familiar with the VFR flight planning using Navigraph charts application, and basically flying the Kodiak. So right now if we go back inside our cockpit, we can see on our PFD that the way that I like to set it up is my map will be on relative terrain, I think that's what it's called. So it's gonna let me know if any terrain is on our way. It's gonna be red, orange, like depending on the severity of that. Other than that, let me actually think our heading bug. So I'm gonna bring our heading bug to our heading, just in case we have to go to heading mode for any reason. We are climbing at 1600 feet per minute and at about 120 knots. We have a little bit of, not a little, a lot of tailwind actually, 32 knots, a little bit of cross you can say. And if we go to our MFD, we can see our flight plan. Also let me try to test the weather radar one more time. It's not showing anything even though it's on. Let's try mode. Yeah, weather, vertical, nothing. So it seems like it is completely clear. At least that's what it says. If we move the range, we can go, wow, 300 nautical miles, good. So it looks like there is no rain or anything on the way. So we can head back to our navigation page, and yeah, we are on a straight course flying over Long Island. We might be able to see, yeah, we will see Montauk Lighthouse. We'll try to see Montauk Lighthouse, and we can see quite a bit of traffic around us. Soon I'll be doing a lot of streams with Kodiak obviously, but we're gonna be live on VATSIM as well. So we'll do a lot of getting used to, basically I'm trying to learn VATSIM and how to speak to ATC. And we have reached our cruising altitude. We can see a few of our friends flying there. Yes, Cessna 152, Airbus A320, Boeing 747 on my left, and Cessna 172. And there are the other two aircraft that I just called, and we have in front of us at 2000 feet Cessna 152. I'm actually enjoying flying the Kodiak exclusively and learning more about the G1000 NXI. And for my setup right now, I'll just go through one more time. I have two iPads set up as external displays, so you don't need iPad, you can just have them as external displays. And I have my PFD and MFD on both of those. And then in order to let me just quickly go to that. In order to use these knobs like the range or FMS buttons, I have my Loop Deck Live, which is perfectly which is really perfect. It gives you the feeling that you're actually using it. Also, I've mapped these buttons and the CDI buttons, the soft keys on the Loop Deck as well. Soon I will make a YouTube video about this, so if you are interested into building a setup like this instead of buying the G1000s by not Simworks Studios, I forgot the name. There are manufacturers who build them for flight simulators, which cost a hefty amount, like 2,000, 3,000. So instead of that, you can just have two external displays with a Loop Deck, which will cost you around 250, and a software like SpadNext, and you're good to go. So I'm really enjoying my setup. And that's why I have this view set up for my landings and takeoffs. So I can stay right here, have my PFD on my iPad and MFD, and track everything else. So let's go ahead and check. Our top of descent is in 12 minutes. And we can see that on our map. So we'll start descending at Jordan actually. 1000. Yeah, so we're gonna start descending at Jordan, which I'm not sure if that is correct, to be honest. Let me just zoom out and let's go ahead and check something. Yeah, it says my top of descent starts from there, and our initial approach fix is at 2500, and we're flying an RNAV approach. Interesting, very interesting. We'll see how the flight goes, and based on that we'll adjust if anything needs to, but as of right now our top of descent is in about 11 minutes. So we'll get back here, and the distance between Sierra Echo Yankee to Delta Echo Echo Papa Oscar is 33.6 nautical miles. Yeah, most probably the top of descent is not correct, but we're gonna fly it on VNAV anyways, which let me quickly go ahead and show you. The VNAV button is right behind this. So if I move here, so here's the VNAV button. In order for VNAV to be armed, you have to put the altitude selector into a lower altitude than what we are currently cruising, and then press the VNAV button, and it's just gonna descend via a calculated path of the computer, the flight computer, and you are I think it goes up to, I'm not sure, I didn't use it in RNAV approaches, but today we'll see. But basically it's gonna get us to final approach fix, and then we just hand fly or whatever we decide to do. So let's go ahead, let me go outside and let's see the view. Yeah, there you go, we are crossing one of the rivers that actually, not rivers, I think that is the ocean. So that basically splits the Long Island, the end of Long Island, into two parts. And on our right we are gonna see the Montauk Lighthouse somewhere over here. It is a beautiful day in New York City. Last few days were really bad, so I couldn't really fly in this region. I had to fly in west, but today it is beautiful out here. So behind the screens, what I've done is, if we go to our MFD, I've set this from 7,000 something to 4,235, which I'm not sure if it's going to be right or wrong, but it still says our top of descent is in about almost 4.5 minutes. So we're gonna set our initial approach fix, or maybe even, let me go a little bit down. So final approach fix, yeah, we can set our altitude to final approach fix 1500 feet, and then turn on our VNAV, and then we'll see how it goes. And based on how it goes, let's see. The flight is fairly short, and we can go hand flight at any point. So we're gonna set all that, and we're gonna test out the VNAV, how it handles, and yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. So right now we are about 4 minutes away from our top of descent, which will start when we hit the waypoint Jordan. We're cruising in almost at 160 knots. So my plan is, once we hit our initial approach, actually before we hit our initial approach fix, we'll be set with our flaps at 10, and we'll continuously decrease our speed and gradually go to full flaps right when we hit final approach fix, and from there we can turn off our autopilot and hand fly the rest once we are comfortable. Okay, update. So if now we go to our MFD, I just suddenly saw our top of descent point actually moved. So now it says it's in 15 minutes. It's almost in about 15 minutes, and it's halfway between Sierra Echo Yankee VR and our first waypoint into the arrival procedure. Well, that is better, I would say. So definitely the G1000NXI did its magic, and we are set for another 15 minutes. So right when we have about 2 minutes left, we're gonna set our altitude to final approach fix, which is 1500, you can see right here, and then we'll press our VNAV button. Looks a very clear day. There should be no weather disturbance at all, and winds are not really calm at our arrival airport in Martha's Vineyard. Right now, after having our runway selected in Navigraph, we can see that, I'll just close this. So we can see that we will have headwinds of 10 knots and 5 knots of crosswind. It's not that bad, so we still should be fine. And let's check our airport diagram once we land on runway 33, it's gonna be a long taxi via Delta all the way to, Delta. We take Delta, we'll take Alpha all the way to G ramp. Either we are gonna go there, or we can just park somewhere over here, another G ramp or FPO ramp. We can park anywhere. Nobody's gonna charge us any money. That's the fun of flying in Flight Simulator. We get our practice done. So yes, our plan for now is that we're gonna land on runway 33, and then we're gonna go almost at the end, take a left to Delta taxiway all the way down, and then we're gonna find a place to park on the ramp right there. Oh, someone's flying the Concorde at 50,000 and climbing. Oof, that's crazy. Okay, this is a bit annoying because right now the TOD changed one more time. So let me quickly go to the MFD. So now it says it's in about like 5 seconds. So what we're gonna do is, and now it changed again. Wow. That is absolutely crazy. So what I'm gonna do is, let's set our altitude to 1500, and 1500 goes here. We will have to monitor it completely, and we're gonna turn on our VNAV. So once you press the VNAV button, it says VPath over here. It's armed, and it is gonna get activated once we hit the top of descent, which right now it still shows around 12 minutes, but a while ago it showed few seconds. So let's monitor that for a few, and we will see how it goes. We're still cruising at 100, almost 160 knots. We have a tailwind of 30 knots, not tail, a little bit cross, coming in from almost 300 heading, and our heading is 072. So it's coming from northwest, and it's at 30 knots. So our airspeed is around 160 knots, and our top of descent in about 10.5 minutes. Let's check out a few more things in the G1000 NXI by working title on its MFD. So we're gonna go back here, close the flight plan page, and let's once again check the weather radar. I'm really excited to see this because I thought it didn't work, or I don't know if it works, because I saw on YouTube by I think KISP something, the channel, he was talking about how it works, and I even saw it working, so I'm not sure if it's working or not. Maybe we'll do some test on another airport today or later. Okay, let's get out of here. Traffic map. Okay, so traffic map, within 40 nautical miles we have 31 coming in at us, and okay, that's good. Let's go back to navigation page. So this is the waypoint page. The aux page, I haven't checked this out yet. A lot of settings, I believe. What other page? No other page that works in the aux section. Flight plan, we know. Nearest, we know. Okay, so we're just gonna stay at map. I'm really excited and waiting for all other features to just come out so I can learn more about the G1000s. And I highly recommend you to read the pilot's handbook for Kodiak 100. It gives you a clear idea of the startup procedures and how to completely fly the aircraft. It's enjoyable. At least to me, it was very enjoyable to read it. And we're gonna be starting our descent in about 8.5 minutes. I'll be back in a few, and enjoy the view. For this next leg, which is our approach procedure, which will be in about 31 nautical miles, it is all flying over the ocean, so not much to see anywhere, but we can go on our MFD, check everything, make sure to check all our T's and N's, so torque, ITT, RPM, and NG. Everything is on green, literally everything is on green. That's good. And our top of descent in 5 minutes. So let's go to PFD and check. So VNAV is still active. VNAV is armed and it is gonna get active. So let's change our altimeter. So we'll go back to our MFD and we are gonna go to our departure airport for info. Yeah. So altimeter is 2968. So let's go ahead over here. Altimeter is 2968. Sorry, it's 2964. This knob is really acting up. Okay, there you go. 2964 is set, and we are going to start our descent shortly in 4.5 minutes. Now that we have all that information, let's zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, our winds are still now proper tailwind of 30 knots. Hoping that the winds didn't change in Martha's Vineyard as well. So let's go ahead to MFD and check our destination winds actually this time. So we have wind at 290, 11 knots, gusting at 18 knots. Okay, that's not too bad. Based on that, we are going to be landing on runway 33, and if we get our Navigraph chart right here, we have headwind. We're gonna have headwind of 9 knots, so 1 knots on each headwind, and crosswind decreased, which is good sign. And we will be shortly in this chart right here. So by the time we get to Galaxy, which is our initial approach fix, which in our database in MFD is actually iHub right here. That doesn't matter, we have to be around 2500 feet, and then by the time we hit Galaxy we'll be at 2000 feet, and then we'll just go ahead and land. So let me take that out here. That aircraft, I'm not sure, it's on 900 feet. I'm not sure how far it is or what type of aircraft it is. It doesn't show up on our traffic either. Yeah, that aircraft is far because it's not showing up in even 1000 nautical miles. Okay. So top of descent in 2 minutes. Can't wait to watch the VNAV hit and VPAD getting activated once we hit our top of descent. So distance is 19.1 nautical miles from our next waypoint, but our top of descent distance is 2 minutes. Also, I'm using an add-on called KISP, which will monitor our landing performance, our touchdown speed, our touchdown feet per minute, and I am a guy big on data. I love watching data. And for our plan, I'll be taking a break for around 4 days, so no streams as I'm traveling. And after that, we are going to start streaming regularly, doing on-air manager jobs. It's a paid carrier add-on, but a really good one compared to NeoFly and the other one by Parallel 42. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, I've tested them and I feel like I loved how nice and clean on-air manager's interface is, and how you don't really have to do a crazy amount of hours before you can even get to fly the plane you want to. Like, that was one of my trade-offs with Neofly, like the fact that I have to fly for days just to be able to fly Kodiak 100, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Also, the whole UI is very cluttered in my opinion, which is why I have decided to go ahead with On-Air Manager, even though Neofly is free and On-Air Manager is a subscription based, but I don't mind paying for something which is that good and something I'm going to be spending a lot of time with. And there's another project that I'm working on, which is flying through the East Coast. So we're gonna start on Long Island MacArthur Airport, and our destination airport will be Florida. So I'm not sure which airport I'm gonna end it at. Maybe I'll go all the way, but yeah, there you go. We hit the top of descent, and as you can see, the flashing green, our V path is activated, and I'm gonna pull down on our speed because we don't want to overspeed. We want to stay at around 150 knots for our descent. And also, if we go to our MFD, now you can see BOD, bottom of descent. So this shows us that we are gonna get to our bottom of descent in about 3 minutes. And you might ask, what is our bottom of descent altitude? Well, it will keep on changing based on the waypoint. Right now it is 4235, which is actually our next waypoint depot's altitude. So, and you can even see on the map, yeah, I'm stupid, I didn't even check the map. So you can check on the map section as well. There's our bottom of descent, but it will keep on changing as we go. Do I have to really activate the approach? I don't know, but I'll go ahead, I'll activate it. Okay, this changed a little bit of things, so which means now our top of descent is, well, few seconds away, but yeah, same thing, honestly. So this changes nothing, but we right now, if we go to our PFD, it's still descending at about 1,000 feet. And if we go to our MFD to check if everything is correct, yeah, we are good. Let me quickly turn that off. And then VNAV, yeah, there you go. So I just had to click on altitude and then VNAV again, and we're descending at about 1,000 feet per minute. I'm going to go into my pilot mode view. Okay, this is good. I feel like that person Nahash L is also in Martha's Vineyard. I honestly don't know, maybe just doing circuits, but I'm not really sure, because it does look like that is where we are heading to. So we are captured on our VNAV path, and we are descending at around 145 knots. And before we hit our initial approach fix of iHub, we are going to be trying to set the aircraft at our flaps 10 setting, and then incrementally, while we head towards our final approach fix, we're going to decrease our speed, and we are also going to set our flaps accordingly. One good thing about this aircraft is, let me quickly show you. So this really, the flaps handle, or whatever you want to call it, the flaps knob, it shows the speed. So the maximum speed for flap 0 is 138 knots. For flaps 20 it's 120, and for flaps 35 it's 108. So it is very easy way to remember all that. And yeah, this aircraft is so fun to fly. Like, I've been flying this for days now. Only this, like, I recently got into flying GA, general aviation aircrafts, and I absolutely love this. It is not as complex as something like the Phoenix A320 or PMDG 737, which I love flying and I've flown a lot. At the same time, this gives you a good ground to learn the G1000 or the Kodiak itself. So overall, it is really a fun plane to fly, and it does end up teaching, like, it teaches you a lot. And right now, if we go to our PFD, I want to just show you this real quick. You see our altitude selector mode is on again because our next top of descent is in about 3 minutes, and that you can see on the map as well right here. So in about 3 minutes our new top of descent. So this will keep on changing based on that. The only thing that you have to do is manage your speed. That's the main thing, managing our speed. So let me go to PFD. Actually I'll just go here, and yeah, so right now we are at about 150 knots, and I might say cruising. And once we hit the VNAV path, we're gonna pull down our power and get back to somewhere around 140 to 145 knots. Once you start flying this plane, you're gonna know on top of your head what speed is good for when. And landing wise, so in the manual it says 80 to 85 knots, but I've tried that and it bounces a lot. So I've found a sweet spot to be somewhere around starting from 65 knots to around 75 or 80, a max 80. But once you are around the area of 70 knots, you're gonna have a perfectly smooth landing. And for takeoff, always remember that the rudder trim, put it on the right side for about like 10% or 15%. On the manual it does say a lot, but in my experience you don't really need a lot. And another thing to remember is once you take off, just quickly reset the rudder trim. So we are on our RNAV approach, and to confirm that with you, we can see on the chart that we are going to our initial approach fix point here at iHub. I feel like that's how you pronounce it. I don't know, so sorry if anyone minds that. And then we're gonna take a left turn at Galaxy and we'll be down to our runway. So our decision altitude for this, we can check it right here. So 339, we have set it to I think 350 using radio altimeter, so ASL, and we should be good. Nothing looks out of ordinary. Our top of descent is in 20 seconds, and then we're gonna start descending one more time. Current speed is 155. Once we start descending, we gotta pull back our power, stay within 140, 145. The closer we get to our initial approach fix, the slower we go. Once we cross our initial approach fix, we will start, and you can see on the PFD on the top here, V path is green and flashing, so we are descending one more time. Your speed is rising, so I'm just gonna cut back the power. So the closer we get to our initial approach fix and final approach fixes, we are going to decrease our speed and keep on increasing our flaps. I just realized my mic was off this whole time. Anyways, so our next stop of descent is in 1.5 minutes before we hit Galaxy, and right when we hit Galaxy we're gonna put our flaps down to 10, and until then we have set our altitude to 1500. If you're on VNAV, we can go ahead and put that a little bit lower, which gives us a room, like in case you hit that waypoint and you are at 1500, VNAV will not stop. It will still continue descending, and we have time to set our altitude to lower until we decide to just hand fly it. Also, we can set our approach once we have that turn on Galaxy. We'll put our approach button so we capture the glide slope. That will completely eradicate the entire thing that I said about setting the altitude lower. I said that because I've been flying VFR a lot, just visual approaches. So this is RNAV approach, which is why we can use our glide slope. The glide slope capture altitude is 1500 according to the charts here, which I'll just show you real quick. So this is our glide slope capture path, and it's at 1500 feet. Our touchdown zone is around 66 feet. And we are descending one more time. So I'm gonna put the power down. I love flying airliners like Phoenix A320 and PMDG 737, but it's a lot of automation. I love the part where we have to set up the flight plan and all that, but then coming to GA aircrafts or if you fly the CRJ, I love flying the CRJ, like you have to do a lot of the speeds and all that manually. Okay, I think we're gonna put our flaps down to 10 once we complete that turn, and I'm gonna bring down my speed. We're about to line up with the runway, so there you go. Our flaps goes to 10, and we are decreasing speed real quick, so we'll control that. Our next airspeed restriction is 120 knots for flaps 20. I can see the runway light from here. I believe that is that should be the runway light. So we are good here. Right now we are about 2000 feet above the ground, or above water I should say. Yeah, we're gonna try to stabilize at around 125 knots so that we can quickly cut back our power to 120 and go to the next flap setting. So setting your altitude to lower isn't really as bad, because if you're on VNAV, it will make sure that you don't suddenly just drop the altitude and keep going down when you don't have to. Our next stop of descent, which is right before final approach fix, is in 1.5 minutes. So we are coming to an ending of this leg or this flight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one more. Maybe we can just go from Martha's Vineyard to one of the airports nearby, because it is just a beautiful day to fly, and it is not this beautiful in New York or the tri-state area. I will set our heading, or I will just press the heading button, which will, there you go, we have the heading here. So once we're descending on the final approach fix, I am going to put my flaps to 20, and we're going to start with our before landing checklist or landing checklist. So our landing checklist, just to go over it real quick, is very simple. We are going to make sure that our flaps are full, our speed is good, and our auxiliary fuel pump will come to on right before, or like when we are on our glide slope. And from there, once we are at minimums or whenever we decide to, we can turn off our autopilot system and go ahead and land the plane. So once again we hit the top of descent and we are going down. I think I'm gonna cut down my speed and bring it to below 120 so that we can put our flaps to 20. I can see the runway from here. We have some crosswind actually coming up from northwest and it's at 27 knots. So we're at 120 knots, flaps can come down to 20, speed will rapidly decrease, so we gotta just keep a check on the power lever. Also, I'm enjoying this Bravo throttle quadrant so much. Like, I absolutely love this. All the switches, the lights, I managed to configure them with SPED next, and we are back at altitude selector mode. So I'm gonna increase the power just a little bit. And we'll start to descend soon enough again. I think okay, we did a mistake. So I'm gonna turn on my approach, and because I think we missed our glide slope, yeah. Turn off the autopilot, we'll start descending by ourselves, and glide path will come activated. Oop, the wind. I don't know where I messed up, but there's somewhere I messed up and we missed our glide slope. So I'm just trying to enter our glide slope, and then we can turn our autopilot just for a brief moment just to show that the RNAV approaches glide path, and there you go, we are on glide path and autopilot goes on. Okay, rapidly decreasing speeds. There's 20 knots of wind, wow. That is absolutely crazy. It's throwing our plane right and left. The speed is going all crazy. I have a feeling this landing is not gonna go as smooth, and yeah, our aircraft is actually struggling with that wind. So I guess Navigraph chart or our simulator, one of the weather engine is not good. Okay, I think I will take control in just a few. Have our full flaps down, auxiliary fuel pump can come on, autopilot goes off. So I'm going to hand fly the remaining because the speed is very variable here. We're going to try to stay within 90 knots for our approach speed.
500.
And that tells us we are about 500 feet above the thing. I'm going to trim it just a little bit. The wind is decreasing as we go down, but damn, the wind is nasty. Above the glide path, so let's go down just a little bit. And okay, we should be fine. This shouldn't be too bad. The other day I had to land on complete snow, like I could barely see the runway. Okay, we're thrown on. Damn, this wind. There you go. Now the wind has calmed down, so we're gonna be good here. Just a little bit to the left. Oop, we landed. Okay, oop. I don't want to make too much strong rudder movement. We landed at around 110 feet per minute. Hide my flight plan page and let's go in on the. Whew, that was really crazy. I didn't expect it to be like that. But oh well. Let's brake here. Okay, auxiliary fuel pump can come off, flaps can go up, and fuel condition lever can come to low idle. Perfect conditions for taxiing, and we are just going to press brake here. And now we're gonna taxi using our Delta taxiway as we remember. Yup. And then we're gonna go to the GA ramp. As we got off the runway, our strobes can come off, landing lights off, taxi lights come on. Our auxiliary fuel pump is standby. Our landing checklist, flaps are fully up. Fuel condition lever is on low idle. All our T's and N's are on greens. And we can decrease the speed just a little bit more. The sun is peaking on our right. Love that. But yeah, that was really a crazy landing at the end. First we missed the glide slope, which was my bad. I forgot to turn on the approach mode on soon enough. Oop. Very much drag on the right. Is it the wind or what is it? Yeah, we landed on complete crosswind. Look at that air sock. Or windsock, sorry. What is air sock? Windsock. I think we'll have to turn on our strobes right when we are clearing that runway. Okay, we're gonna put a brake here. Our strobes will come on, making sure nobody's on the runway. Nobody on final. I believe you guys know about the incident on JFK on I think January 13th or 14th, where an American Airlines decided to cross runway 4L when they were cleared to cross runway 31 left, and a Delta was taking off from runway 4. So it was really stupid and crazy, especially when American flight had 3 pilots on board. So I don't know how all 3 of them missed that, but yeah. I'm glad that nothing too bad happened. And over here, some scenery problems with Flight Simulator. Okay, so we're gonna park right next to this, whatever airplane this is. We can, right here, sounds good. Parking brake comes on. And our taxi light can come off, nav lights can come off, only beacon will be on until we shut off everything. So let's get to our checklist for I'm thinking, should we do another flight? Let me check here if we find any interesting airports around. Providence, no. New London Airport is right here. I mean, we can go to Boston. Yeah, let's go to Boston. KBOS. So we can unload this flight, and so right now we are at KMVY. So we're gonna go new flight VFR. We are gonna fly at around 8,000, and KMVY will go here, and then for destination we are gonna select Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra. We'll press an auto route here, and oh no, not high. Okay, I have to cancel that and do the routing one more time. This time we'll do low. And still the same, wow. So we're gonna go to the VR at Providence, and then we're gonna go to Boston. Okay, departing runway. We are going to choose runway 33. And for arrival, what are we doing? Arrival runways, let's see which runway has good winds 10 knots for runway 27, 12 knots headwind. I mean, it might change honestly from the experience we had on this, so we're just gonna choose runway 32. And for arrival runway 2, we are here. Yeah, I think that one is recommended, so we'll choose. Wow, hold up. So we chose what runway? We can go RNAV, and if we add RNAV, it is gonna be all the way here. Hold up, runway 27. Okay, so we're gonna do all that flying. Wow, let's choose a different one. How about we don't, and we simply just we remove this, and yeah, there you go. From Providence we go to iBay, and then yeah, we don't have to really choose the entire arrival procedure. Okay, the flight plan looks good. How do I see the... Yeah, there you go. So we're just gonna follow that, and we're gonna put it in our MFD. So let's go ahead to flight plan, and we'll go to menu and delete flight plan. Then from there we can go ahead origin KMVY, okay, so we're at Martha's Vineyard. We are going to choose runway 33 and then enter. So let's go our in route point. What does the menu do here? Nothing. Let's go to in route point. So the first waypoint is Papa Romeo Oscar Victor India. So Provi. Okay, there you go. We'll press enter, and it is, yeah, it's the right waypoint as you can see on the map, 41 nautical miles away. And then from there we're gonna go to, well, from there we're simply just entering the approach. So let's go here, select Kilo Bravo Oscar and Sierra. We'll press enter. Runway, we know we decided to go 27. Enter, and then we're gonna go to procedure, select approach, and we chose what, RNAV? Yeah, RNAV runway 27. Didn't go an initial approach fix by, and that should give us everything that we need. So we can go ahead and load that plan, and if we go, there you go, we have it selected. So once we get to Provi, we're gonna activate our approach and we should be good. I'm thinking this time we should fly at about 12,000 or 10,000 feet, or we'll just stay at 8,000. If anything, we'll change later. So all of that looks good, and let's go ahead to our PFD and set up our autopilot. So let's reset everything. So we're gonna do 8,000, the small 100 increments. I don't like that. Okay, so we have selected 8,000. We'll go ahead, select vertical speed mode, and we're gonna climb at about 1600 feet initially. Our runway heading is runway 33. So what is the heading for runway 33? Let's check. So it's 326. So we'll go heading mode, runway 326. Okay, so heading mode will be turned on, and then we'll turn on the GPS. We already have our CDI set to GPS. You can see over here it's purple, so everything looks to be good. Okay, let's go ahead and taxi. It's a straight up taxi. We'll go straight and then, well, we can go to Alpha and then, yeah, so we'll go to Alpha and then we'll go straight up and runway's right there. It's a weird airport, honestly. And from there we'll take off, and right after we take off, we are just gonna simply turn on our GPS, or we'll turn on our nav. It is gonna capture our GPS path, and we should be good. Nothing needs to be done. Okay, right now parking brake set. Our engines are turned on. Flaps, will set flaps for takeoff. Our beacon light is on. Nav lights will come on. Taxi lights will come on. Auxiliary fuel pump is on standby right now, so let's take off our parking brake and apply some power. Actually, before that, let me quickly change our stream title. Okay, stream title should be updated. So let's go ahead, parking brakes off, power on, and we'll also quickly set our rudder trim to a little bit. Okay, that's good. And I feel like a lot of players are in Boston right now, so we'll probably encounter some of them there. So we are on Alpha taxiway right now. I'll just press the B key to make sure, yeah, we are good with altimeter. It was just a little bit difference. Even after doing that rudder trim, it's still pulling on to the left, so I'm gonna set that rudder trim just a little bit high. Too high. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's very fast. Okay, buddy, you can't come here. Okay, runway hold short line is right above us, so few things to do. Okay, before I can't even talk. Okay, before takeoff checklist, flaps are set. Let's confirm that. Yes, flaps are set for takeoff. Pilot's view is on. Auxiliary fuel pump comes on. Fuel condition lever goes to high idle. Parking brakes off, and let's go ahead, line up and take off. What is stopping us? Hold up. Okay, never mind. Okay, strobes can come on, taxi light off, landing lights on. I forgot that on the checklist. I really need to keep that checklist next to me. We're not gonna waste too much space on the runway. We are lined up. We're gonna increase our power, making sure our RPM ITT is on normal, and we're good to go. 60 knots here. We can go ahead, slowly get up. Rudder trim can come to 0. Flaps can go to 10. Once we hit 90 knots, which we're about to hit, flaps 0. Okay, power set. We can go ahead, turn on autopilot, and our nav will be activated. So GPS is activated. Whoa, what is happening? Hold up. Oof. Yeah, for some reason the autopilot button didn't work. But damn, that would have been a disaster. We were on a nosedive. Let me quickly get out of that view. So we are on our way. 40 nautical miles away from Pro V waypoint, and from there we're gonna activate our approach and we'll be flying towards Boston. Right now it's, I think, sunset time. It's about 3:46 p.m. here, so by 4:30 it will be sunset. And look at that sun, misty sun. But I think a lot of people are flying around the Boston area. Ooh, auxiliary fuel pump can come to standby. I forgot that from my checklist. Everything else looks good. Nav is on, strobe beacon, landing lights on, flaps are all up, and we are cruising, or we're climbing towards 8,000 feet. I'll pull to increase my VS speed. So we are at 125 knots. We usually need only 100 knots for climb, or even less than that works. So we will climb at about 2,000 feet per minute, and our speed is decreasing towards 110 knots. This place is really beautiful. In real life, I really want to go there as well, so we'll maybe someday. So many people online flying. I recently just turned on the online thing. I mean the name tags. We are stable at 110 knots, climbing at 2,000 feet per minute, and we're crossing 4,000, going for 8,000 feet. You know what, we're gonna climb to 10,000, yeah. Because our initial approach fix is at 6,000 anyways, so we're only 2,000 feet above, so we'll go at 10,000 feet, new altitude set, and yeah, once we are cruising, we'll check our top of descent, and we'll plan accordingly when to turn on the VNAV. As we checked, the VNAV worked perfectly. It was my fault that I didn't turn on the approach. I didn't press the approach button for glide slope to be activated, so this time we're going to try to remedy that. Hey, I'm back. So we are currently cruising at 10,000 feet, our airspeed almost 160 knots, and we are about 25 nautical miles away from our waypoint Provi. So now that we are, and our top of descent is 26 minutes, which might change depending on a lot of factors once we activate our approach after hitting the waypoint Provi. So let's see what else information we can get using Navigraph Charts application. So if we click on Boston and information, so we can click on Open Airport. So once we have Open Airport, it's going to give us basic information like longest runway, elevation, and name, location, all that. But if we click on runways, you can see it's going to tell us dimensions, bearing, and also this new feature where it tells us the winds. So headwind, crosswind, tailwind, all of that information, using which we decided what runway we're gonna choose for landing. Also the weather. So this gives us our meter information, and as well this just clean up the data and put it visually nicely. So reading the meter, it's 290 at 12, gusting 19 knots. So it's at 290, heading, the wind coming from 290 degrees at 12 knots and gusting at 19 knots. Visibility is 16 kilometer or 10 statute miles. Clouds information, temperature, pressure, your altimeter, and all that information. So really good. Next, you can, if you're flying on a network, you can go to comms, and you're gonna get all the approach and ATIS and all that information, if there's any NOTAMs, which there is. And then you can go to charts, regular, stars, approach, taxi, SID, and reference charts. Then we have procedures. So this is where this is where you can find all the arrival and departure procedures, as it says departure, arrival, approaches, and all that different charts. Next, let's check out this Class B Bravo airspace chart as well, which is nice, clean. So yeah, this is the information that we can get using Navigraph. So right now we're on flight, so we can click on the flight section and we can get back to our own data. It's tracking, and we are right in center between our departure airport and our first waypoint for Providence. So also right here it shows what approach we chose, and we can even click here and get our information. So departure runway information as well if you want, and obviously the charts are always going to be pinned. You don't have to do anything. I think the runway chart is right here, and then we have our arrival airport chart. So as we can see, we're going to arrive on runway 27, a shorter runway. Seems like depending on where we stop, we can take Echo taxiway all the way to Bravo, and then keep going at Bravo, and then just keep going at Bravo, and then we'll get to the general aviation ramp, where we're gonna end this flight, the second leg of this flight, I should say. Or the second option could be, so if we reach at the end of the runway, we can either take Kilo and then go to Bravo, or we can take Mike and then take Kilo and then Bravo. But our main plan is to get to Bravo either by Echo, Mike, or Kilo, and then just keep going, keep following the Bravo until we get to general aviation ramp at the other side of the airport. So that's our plan so far. Cruising at 160 knots, 10,000 feet, and 40 nautical miles away from Providence. Okay, let's get inside the aircraft and check few information. So we are about 5 nautical miles away from Providence, so once we hit that waypoint we can activate our approach procedure. And as of now our top of descent is 19 minutes away. If you guys have any question regarding this aircraft, make sure to ask through chat or comment, and make sure to follow this Twitch account, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram. A lot of traffic out there, other players. So I can finally see the person that we thought was in in Martha's Vineyard is actually flying a A318, and he's at 15,000 feet. There's a JetBlue I can see right here. This person right here, going or coming from Boston at 10,000 feet right now. So we're about to make a right turn and once we do, I will activate our approach. It's set, I just have to press enter and we're good. Okay, what is going on? Why didn't we make that turn? Yeah, we're making it right now after I activated the approach. Weird. Okay, our top of descent time is about 17 minutes. Oh wow, that is beautiful. Once we are around 5 minutes out, we're gonna set our initial altitude, and this time I'm not gonna do the mistake. I'm just gonna set a very low altitude, maybe final approach fix, which it shows 1700 feet. Let's check something. How low can we set it to? Yeah, sounds like 1700 feet. So we're gonna set it about 1000 feet. I'll just take that risk, but this time I'll try to make sure that the approach button is on so we capture the glide slope. So we have about 33 knots of crosswind towards the tail and cruising at 160 knots, and our true airspeed is actually 185 knots going towards Boston. So update, we are about 8 minutes away from our top of descent. The flight is going good so far, and I'm enjoying the views actually. So let's go ahead, check on our MFD actually. What's up? A lot of traffic around us we can see, and there's a lot of traffic in Boston as well. Most probably people flying on VATSIM or something. But I'm still yeah, I will start VATSIM. I do flights here and there. I don't stream VATSIM flights as much because I'm still learning the basics. But once I'm comfortable, I will definitely start streaming flights on VATSIM. And yeah, so far the flight is actually going good, and we are around 40 nautical miles away. So 7 minutes out, we are going to start setting up our autopilot for ooh, look at that sun. So we're gonna set it up to about 1,000 feet as we decided, because in the chart, yeah, 1,000 feet. I think there is no glide slope in this one, I'm not sure. LNAV, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna set it at about 1,000 feet. We definitely have to monitor strictly because we are doing that. And if we come over here, you can see the VNAV button right here. So I'm just gonna use my controller to press that, and there you go, VNAV is on. So if we go back to our PFD, if you can see right here, yeah, VPath is armed. So once we hit our top of descent, we are going to start descending. The only thing is we have to make sure that our speed is managed. We don't want to overshoot anything, at least in this flight. The last one, the landing was very difficult for me, even though we touched down. Also, let me show you how KISP works. So basically, once you turn it on, it stays on your task, or I forgot what you call that, but if you press on my landing, okay, how will that go, bro? Okay, let's take that out. Okay, so if you press on my landing, and let's go ahead search. Oop, what am I doing? Kodiak. So yeah, 2023. So these are my landings from earlier today, all of these. So we had 110 knots and impact airspeed. So as you can see, with the airspeed below 70 or around 70, it's actually better landing, especially at 65 plus 64 here. We had a -41. This one, which one was, yeah, this one was the last one, yeah, 110. So this is the one we did on this stream on the on Martha's Vineyard. So let's try to do better than this. But yeah, the geese add-on is really good. It just stays at the bottom taskbar and interferes nothing. And on the corner of your screen, it does show when you land, but because my screen is a 49-inch ultra wide, you can't really see it. I do see it though, and there's also a log of all the landing you did. Highly recommend this very tiny, unpaid, for free add-on if you like. And we are around 4 minutes away from our top of descent. Let's enjoy the view just a little bit more. It looks beautiful out there. So many traffic around us. So this one is coming from Miami International. This Delta 2124 is going to Atlanta. Another Delta flight probably coming to Boston. There is a JetBlue, another JetBlue right here. Wow, so many flights. So let's head inside as we are coming close to our top of descent, just a minute away, and we are going to start descending to 6,000 feet for our next waypoint, which is Alpha Yankee Bravo Echo Echo, and from there we'll incrementally descend to 4,000, 3,000, and for our final approach fix at 1,700 feet. So before we hit the final approach fix, this time I'll make sure to press the approach button, won't mess that up. Our altimeter should be good. Let me just real quick check for Boston. Yeah, altimeter 2969 actually. So let's fix that. 2969. So we have that fixed. We're about to hit our top of descent, so I'm gonna cut back my power. We're already at 160 knots. So there you go, our V path is activated. I'm gonna cut back our power to stay within 150 knots. Our before landing checklist. Our autopilot system is set, VNAV is set. We are going to turn on our approach once we make that turn and line up with the runway. Last time I messed that up. Let's set our heading bug to our runway heading, which is what 272. So our heading will be 272. There you go. Heading is set for runway heading. Our flaps will go full. Let's go through before landing, just before landing. So what we're gonna do is flaps full, auxiliary fuel pump is gonna come up, and yeah, that's basically it. After we land, flaps up, auxiliary fuel pump off, fuel condition lever goes to low idle. If we need, we can use our reverse thrust. And then when we exit the runway, landing lights off, strobes off, taxi come on, and we should easily taxi to our ramp. As we discussed earlier, we are gonna take, once we land, depending on where we exit, either Echo, Mike, or Kilo to Bravo, and then all the way take Bravo to general aviation ramp on the other side of the airport. So right now we are at about 150 knots, descending down to 6,000 and passing through 8,300 feet. Our bottom of descent is at about 4 minutes away, which is basically 6,000 feet, and it's gonna keep on change. The top of descent, bottom of descent is gonna keep on changing, so we'll have to keep an eye on those as well as we descend down. And on our left should be our runway. Once we take, not left, but it's kinda, I think, 180 degrees. Ooh, we're gonna have a sunset landing. I'm excited for that. I want to check the weather radar one more time if it actually does work. So set standby, let's go mode and select weather. No, nothing really. Interesting, I really have to find out how to use that. Okay, let's go up, yeah. Okay, 2 minutes from bottom of descent. We are gonna cut down on our power just a little bit more as we are at around 155 knots. And we're gonna make our, not 180 degree, I believe 160 or 150 degree turn towards left, and we're gonna have a beautiful sunset landing. So we're gonna cut down our power a little bit more in order to set our flaps to 10. Once we go below 138 knots, our flaps will go to 10, and then going forward we'll keep on setting our flaps and speed and all that. Ooh, beautiful sun coming our way. (138 knots). I'll put my flaps to 10. Even though we are there's quite a bit of distance, but ooh, look at that sun just peeking next to us. So we are lined up with our runway at about 130 knots. Keep on going down. What I'm gonna do right now is actually press our approach button. So glide path, if I take you to PFD, you can see right here glide path is also armed along with the I have to find out what this abbreviation means, but we'll figure that out. But right now I know that glide path is set. We're at 130 knots. We are all set for a easy landing. Right now the winds are coming in from 3 to 4 degrees at 25 knots. Our heading 281. So right now it says that we are gonna have 10 knots of crosswind and 10 knots of headwind on the landing runway. Why does the weather always change on us? And we can change our approach, but I don't really want to do all that right now, so we'll just go ahead and land it. So as you can see, very interesting something. So right now we are on V path, and just a second ago before I came to the screen it was on altitude selector mod. So it's gonna keep on changing until this diamond hits right over here, and then glide path is gonna get activated. So let's watch our speed here. 120 knots is absolutely perfect. That is what we are targeting for. That is what we are going for. So we are gonna try to stay at 120 knots. And the more we go down, I'm thinking right when we hit final approach, or right before we hit final approach fix, if you can see on our MFD, we are gonna go to runway, we're gonna set our flaps to 20 degrees, maybe when we hit our bottom of descent in about a minute. And once we are on our glide path, as we move forward, when I deem satisfactory, we can go full flaps down, auxiliary fuel pump can come on, and we are going to be all set for the landing. This time I did not mess up the glide path, so let's just hope that it does work, which it does. I've tested it in earlier flights. Right now we are lined up with the runway, so that is good. There's a lot of crosswind, as you can see on our PFD, even though this should be our heading, but right now we're facing that way just because there is a lot of wind coming from here pushing us towards this. So if we keep our heading here, we're just gonna keep on getting pushed, and we might end up somewhere over here. I hope the winds decrease as we go down like it did in Martha's Vineyard. So let me take you to the PFD. So right now it's in Alt V or Alt mode. There you go, it's holding that 3000 feet, and once we hit our top of descent, the next one in about 30 seconds, that's when our V path is gonna get activated. And as we get closer and this diamond shape hits the center line, we are gonna be on glide path and we don't have to worry about anything else. And let's look at the sun. Just let's move a little bit to the right and admire that beauty. Oof, I love that. Our speed is decreasing very, very quickly, I just noticed. So we're gonna try to stay around 120 knots, which will give us room to just simply put our flaps to 20 degrees. Okay, we're gonna be on glide path very shortly. As we are going down, the winds aren't changing that much, but hoping for the best, hope that it doesn't just push us somewhere right before we land. Okay, we are nearing 130 knots, so we're gonna cut back on our power, try to keep on 120 knots. Glide path is gonna be activated super soon. As you can see on our PFD, the diamond is almost lined up, so the moment it lines up, glide path is gonna get activated, and I will be there to show you that, or at least after activated I'll show you. So let's go to 120 knots. The moment the glide slope gets activated, we are going to go ahead and go to flaps 20. I can see the runway, it's right there, I can see it, so we should be good. We are stable at 119 knots, about 120, and now let me show you one more thing. So this, what do you call that? Yeah, the relational terrain. This shows the green, and then you see how the colors keep on changing. So red and orange or whatever, it means also glide path is activated. Flap goes to 20. We'll keep the speed up, but what I meant was, so this color red or orange means that you need to climb like real quick. Also look at how strong the crosswind is, that we are literally facing this when our runway is right here. That is crazy. We are stable at 110 knots. We can set our full flaps once we go below 108 knots, so I'll keep that in mind. Everything else is working good. We don't have to worry about the altitude and VNAV anymore. So we are heading down, and when I deem perfect, I can go ahead, put my flaps full down, and for landing, auxiliary fuel pump goes up. So we're about 4 nautical miles away from the runway. I'm hoping to have a good landing here and not just crash down on the ground, but the winds is what's scaring me right now. Still 23 knots. That is crazy. We are stable at 108 knots, so I'm just gonna go ahead, pull the trigger or push the trigger, and we are at full flap configuration. We're about 1100 feet above the ground, so once we are around 700 feet, I'll take over from autopilot and then fight against the wind. We love to do that. All my lights are set. Auxiliary fuel pump can come on. a lot of air traffic in front of us. I think I'm glad I chose this runway. Nobody bothering me here. Also, probably nobody wants to bother me here because of the crosswind and all that. You can see that inset map is going yellow, indicating that if we continue in this fashion, vertical speed and everything, we are gonna go crash down, or that land is hazardous to us. Okay, I think I'm gonna take over from here, so let's go ahead, continue here. We're gonna try to keep our speed not too low. We're gonna get pushed more and more by the wind. There you go, we are good here. The poppy lights are showing us that we are good. I'm gonna cut down power just a little bit more. I do not want to end up hitting and bouncing on the runway. One of the landings earlier today, I really just bounced 3 times. Okay, that crosswind is not a joke. Nice, we are coming down nicely on the runway, and we should have touched down any moment now. Okay, there you go. Not bad. Oh, no, 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 no. Shouldn't have braked there. No, come on, that wind is absolutely crazy. Oh my god, what is this? Why is the aircraft going like that? I'm just gonna... Yep, reversers. We almost... Oh my god, we even went out the runway. That's crazy. Oof. Yeah, that wind was no joke. We were so close to just crashing there. Thankfully we didn't. Auxiliary fuel pump can go off, or standby actually, and let's see our chart. So it looks like we didn't even take much things. So we're gonna take Charlie here, and then we're gonna just go Charlie to Bravo, and then to general aviation ramp. The rudder, like, what is up? The rudder trim is 0. Why is my aircraft doing that? I'm gonna put my power lever to low idle, and we're gonna take this turn right here on Charlie. Once we go up there, I can turn off my landing lights. I'll leave my strobes on because taxi can come on. We have to pass few runways. But wow, that landing was... We were so close to disaster. I didn't even notice what our V speed was. Hold up, we're taking... No, we're going straight, and then... Yeah. So we're still on Charlie. And we're gonna take... I thought we were gonna go up to Echo, but we barely took like some runway to stop there. I activated my reversers as well because of how the plane was acting. Well, it's good to be on ground, and both the landings were very difficult in my opinion. The crosswinds were both the times we chose the wrong runway, and not really wrong runway. I mean, we made the decision based on the winds, and right when we were about to on final, we always noticed that the winds are going crazy. Well, it is what it is. We survived the plane didn't flip. We are all good. This is gonna be quite a long taxi. So we are crossing runway 2 left and what is it, 4 right. I mean 22 left and oh wow, I didn't even check if anybody's coming. Nope. There are probably some people on the other side on the next runway, which is 2 to right and runway, what is it, 9? Oh no, 4 left. I'll just keep my landing light on actually, just in case people can't see me. My FPS is taking a hit. Someone is ready there for takeoff, so I'm just gonna wait for them. Is that person waiting for takeoff? Well, after landing checklist. So our fuel condition lever is at low idle, flaps are up, and lights are on. We'll just wait here, and just for a moment we'll wait here and check what's going on. If that person is actually trying to take off. Wait, I don't see it. Yeah, never mind, it was on the other runway. Okay, so we are good to cross the runway, pretending that we asked the ATC and we got cleared. Yep, nothing there. Whoa, wait. Yeah, nothing there. No. And we are gonna turn on Bravo. It looks so different from the other seat. So we're gonna make a right turn here on Bravo. We no longer need landing lights or strobe light. Taxi lights should be sufficient enough for us. Look at that pink sky. It is a long, long taxi to general aviation ramp. Finally decided to apply a lot of right rudder trim, so I was getting tired of keeping on pushing on the right rudder pedal. Okay, just a little bit and then we are gonna be on the parking ramp and we can shut this off. Hope you guys enjoyed this long stream, and the video will be up on YouTube as well. Let me know if there is anything specific you want me to cover about this aircraft or any other tutorials of anything. I guess the GEN means generic, which is just AI traffic. That's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, so we're gonna take a left on the next taxiway. So that will be Lima, or actually no, we have to still keep going. Wow, the general aviation ramp is all the way right here. I think this is the longest taxi I've done. So fuel quantity is almost on yellow. Just gonna increase a little bit power here. Okay, and to our left will be general aviation ramp, our destination. So there's yellow lights, which means what? We should not cross or what? 15, right? Is there no there? Oh yeah, that was the thing. Well, here we are in our general aviation ramp. Hey police, wait, go. Okay, we'll just park next to that Piper, I believe that is, or I don't even know what aircraft that is. But we're gonna make a turn here, and then we'll do a clean shut off. I think this is good enough. Parking brakes can come on, power lever idle, and taxi lights goes off, nav lights can go off. We are going to go ahead, turn our cabin light on just to make sure we can see everything. Auxiliary fuel pump can go off. Oh, we didn't even turn on auxiliary bus. Wow, damn, that's really bad. Generators can go off, alternators can go off, pitot heat can go off, avionics bus can go off, and then our prop lever is gonna be feathering, and our fuel condition lever can go cut off, and this menu can also go away. Okay, there we go. We have a clean shut off. Flaps are already up. Next we can close our master switch, can go off, cabin lights can go off as well, firewall fuel shut off can go, and our torchlight has come on. Wow, nice. And there you go. If you want, we can even open the door here. Let's get out of here. Well, there it is. I really hope you enjoyed the flight, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover in our next stream. I hope you learned something about the Kodiak 100 from this stream, and I hope you have a wonderful time. This will be it for me tonight, and